Katie. Hope this is working okay. Okay, so here I have my scale, and I have it on grams, and I have just a little container to measure it in, and I'm going to measure out 50 grams of starter. So I've got my starter in here that I have going all the time. Measure out 50 grams. I'm not the pro here at doing videos, sorry about that. Oops, turned out to be a little bit more than 50. I have like 59 in there. Okay, so that's close enough. Okay, so I have this much left. It's hard to tell to show you how much, but anyway, that's what I need to throw away. So I'm gonna stop the video, and well, I can keep it going if you're patient with me. So I need to clean out my my jar here. You can use a mason jar if you want to, or I did end up getting a container that has a larger opening to it, and it's actually for making sourdough bread, but it's just easy to kind of clean this out if you don't want too big of too narrow of an opening so that it's hard to clean it out when you need to. You don't have to clean it real good, but anyway. Okay, so I'm back here with my jar, and so I'm gonna measure again to make sure I'm gonna put it back on 0, and so I make sure that I put 50 grams in, and sometimes you have to kind of clean it out of the little bowl to make sure you get it all there. And if it's a little bit, if it's like 49, it doesn't matter. But anyway, okay, so I have my 50 grams, and I should have already had my water out, but I didn't think I had, but I'm gonna get some water here. So, once again, put that back to 0, and then I add 50 grams of water. I got 52, that's okay, it's close enough. And then I need to get my flour. And here I've got my flour. So once again, I'm gonna put 50 grams of flour. So I go back to 0, and then I can measure the 50 grams of flour. Okay, got it. And then I stir this together. Make sure I get all the flour and it all gets wet and kind of mixed together good. And then, okay. So that's ready to just sit until I feed it again. I have a lid that goes on the top. It's not a tight fitting lid. It's just, so you don't want it real sealed. Not real tight fitting, because a little bit of air needs to get in there, I guess. But anyway, I just put that back on there. And so I will send you a few different videos to show you the different processes. So, okay, talk to you later. Bye. Hi, Katie. Okay, I am making the bread. I'm starting at 12:17 today. And the first thing I'm going to do is just mix 800 grams of a couple of different kinds of flours and water. So I want to use a little bit of rye flour. Let's see, I gotta get it back to grams here. Okay, so I'm gonna do the scale to 0, put some rye flour in. I think I'll do like 75 grams. of rye flour, and all together I'm going to do 800 grams of flour. So, and then I'm going to add some whole wheat, just because I like to have a mixture. And then I will do, so right now I have 170 grams of flour, so I'm going to do the rest white bread flour. So 800 grams total. And these are my ratios. Not everybody uses exactly these measurements, but it's worked for me, so this is what I stick to. Okay, so I have a little over 800, so I have to take some out of there. Okay, so that's 800. And then, so I have 800 grams of flour in that bowl. And then I'm going to do 608 grams of water in this bowl. Okay. And I use my filtered water from my refrigerator, just to make sure it's filtered water. Don't have to, but okay. So I have a little bit too much. I have 613, so I just get down. Just kind of make sure I'm measuring right. 608, okay. So I pour the flour, I have this big bowl, and I put the flour in there, and I put the water in, and then I mix this flour and water together, and I do that, I let it sit then once it's mixed together. I just let it sit for about 45 minutes to an hour, and after that I will add the starter and the salt, and I'll show you how I do that. I just have to figure out how to get my video at the right level, and I want you to be able to see inside the bowl, so I have to figure that one out, but I'll try to do that. So you can use your fingers if you want, to your hands, to kind of mix this together. You don't have to. You can just, it's just, I think they call it just like a ragged mixture. You'll see so it just kind of looks like this. And so it's just to get the flour and water, get the flour moist enough to get started with the bread. So, okay. So that's all I have to do now. And then I just put plastic wrap over the top and let that sit for like 45 minutes to an hour. And so then I'll come back and show you how I get started on making the bread. So talk to you later. Hi Katie, I'm back after letting this sit for about an hour. And this is just the flour and water, and this is the way it looks. It's kind of a shaggy mess. And now I am going to add 120 grams of starter. And this is the way my starter looks. When I started out, this rubber band kind of shows me how much it looks like I have. And then this is how much it's risen since 8 o'clock this morning. So I refed it this morning at 8 o'clock, and I used about 30 grams of starter, 100 grams of flour, and 100 grams of water. And so now, it's like doubled in size. And so got my little trusty scale over here. I'll get that out of the way. So here's my scale, and I'm gonna pour 120 grams of starter in here. And oops, that's way more than I need. So you see you have plenty of starter. That's still more than I need. That's about 138 grams. Take about this much away. More. Sorry, I'm not faster. Okay, so I am going to put, this is 120 grams of starter, so that's how much it is. And I'm just gonna dump it in my flour and water mixture. And okay, I'll try to get all of this out of the bowl. So I don't have really any exciting stuff to talk about. I have to think while I'm doing this. I'm not an entertainer. Okay, and then I wet my hands and I just kind of fold this shaggy mess of dough over the starter and try to just fold it over and get that to mix in. Kind of, it won't be perfect, doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna also put the salt in, and I measured the salt and I have 18 grams of salt to go with this. And I wanna make sure that gets mixed in there good enough because I don't like one part to be saltier than the rest. It needs to kind of mix in there. So once again, I don't knead it. I just kind of fold it over itself. Got a lot of salt in that area, but that's okay. We'll be working with the dough a little bit more, and then I'll put the rest of it in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna once again just kind of fold it over, grab some on the side and fold it over to the other side, and it won't all mix in that well. It's kind of uneven in its texture, but that's okay. Some of it's sticky to my fingers, but not too bad. So I'm just gonna leave it like that right now, so you can tell that the starter is in there and is kind of clumped up in some areas. But as time goes on, it'll just absorb a little bit more in with the other dough. Okay, so clean off my hands, and I'm just gonna put the, cover it with plastic wrap again, and then I'm gonna let it sit for 30 minutes. So, hi Katie. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. Sorry, I just appeared here. So I'm just gonna kind of turn the dough over. This is the way it looks. It's just like I left it. And so this is what I do. I don't know if I can show you very easily. I'll try to. So I just take it like this and fold it over. And I do that going all the way around, just to try to fold it in on itself, I guess is what you would call it. And as each 30 minutes goes on, I just have a couple more of these left, but the dough gets more integrated, and you'll see that it starts, instead of looking so shaggy, it starts looking smoother. And so that's all I have to do. And then I put once again, the plastic wrap on top of it. And so that's what I do. And then in another 30 minutes, I do the same thing. So yeah, so I'll do that. Oh, and I wanted to show you the salt that I use. You can get it at Costco or wherever, but it's sea salt, but it's fine crystals. I think it kind of dissolves better if it's fine crystals. And then even after I've used the 120 grams of starter, I still have, it's about up to here, I'd say. So I still have plenty of starter left to feed. And then after I feed it, since I've made my bread, I'll just put it in the refrigerator until I make bread again. So I'll feed it again either tonight or tomorrow morning and put in the 50 grams of starter with 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. I do, when I'm making my bread, I use the 27 or 30 grams of starter with 100 grams of water and flour. So I changed that up, you know, when I'm starting to make my bread again, I change things up a little bit there, the measurements. But that's all I have to do. So I'll show you in 30 minutes again what I'm doing and let you see what the dough looks like. Okay, here we go again. It's been 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna, once again, this is the way it looks now. And I'm just gonna fold it over to the opposite side again. And it's looking pretty good here, like it's, yeah, like it's mixing in real well. There's a little bit of sourdough starter, I think, in the center still. So I need to, I'm just gonna turn it over a few times here. And so, yeah, I think I need another 30 minutes still, and I'll do the same thing. Okay. Just turn it over a little bit more here. Okay, so give it another 30 minutes and it'll even, sourdough kind of works in there and helps smooth it out, and that's what we want. So anyway, see you soon. Okay, 30 minutes has gone by, so I'm just gonna, and this is how it looks right now. So I'm just gonna do this last time, and it's getting a lot more stretchy now, as you can see. So I'm picking it up once again and just folding it over to the other side. I'm gonna do it a few times here just to make sure it kind of gets all mixed in together. And okay, so this is the way it looks right now. Kind of hard to show you. So I'm gonna just kind of turn it over, and so it's kind of smooth on the top. And then I'm just gonna let it sit until this evening when it's time to make it in to my 2 loaves, and I'll show you how I do that. So yeah, so we're good. Thanks. Hello again. Here we are doing the last process here before we put it in the refrigerator for overnight. And so I need to get all of the dough out of the bowl. And let's see, I think I need a scraper here. Sorry about that. I keep thinking I'm on top of things and then I remember something I forget. Okay. So I just use a scraper like this to get the dough out of the bowl. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. And I'm just gonna, I wish I had this set up a little bit better so you could see, but I think you can see what I'm doing. So I put a little flour on my countertop, and then I just kind of spread out the dough to kind of make it almost like a rectangle or a square. And then I fold the corners in toward the center, and then just kind of fold it over. And then I do that again, and you'll see sometimes there are little bubbles there. I kind of pop those. Those are from the rising of the sourdough. Okay, so I did again, like the 4 corners, fold them in, and then fold it over again. And then I just kind of go like this. I hope you can see this okay. Just kind of fold the sides into the underneath, if that makes sense. So it kind of turns out like a ball or like a round loaf. But then I also need to cut it in half. So I have a scraper here, And I just, I'll show you like this. So I divide it in half and kind of separate them a little bit. Maybe need a little more flour, don't need much. And then hopefully this doesn't fall over. So, okay, so now I have 2 individual loaves, and I'm gonna kind of spread them out, kind of elongated, a little bit longer than it is wide. And then I fold it like an envelope, so halfway to the center, and then fold this over here, and then fold it over in half. And then I just kind of do that again with this. If it's a little sticky, just put a little more flour on the bottom, on the counter. And you can just use regular flour for that. It doesn't have to be bread flour. So I'll do that one more time. Elongate it. And then, okay, I'm trying to get it so that this doesn't fall over, but I wish I could have it so you could see the full thing of it. Maybe that's better. Okay, so once again, just kind of fold it, the top till it's halfway there, kind of like you'd make an envelope, and then fold this one over, and then fold it in half that way. And then I just kind of go like that again. Okay, and then the other one I'm going to do the same thing too. So I'm going to do fold over, envelope style, fold over, and then like that. And then just do it one more time. So once again, kind of fold over, envelope like that, and then just in half again. And then I just kind of make it kind of smooth, keep going around like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put the plastic over the top and let it rest for 30 minutes. Okay, so we'll just let that rest for 30 minutes. So I have 2 loaves. Okay, I am back and we're gonna finish this off. It's about 9:30 now, so it was about 9 o'clock tonight when I divided the dough, worked on it, and then divided it. So now it's a half hour later, it's 9:30. So once again, I'm just gonna go ahead and do 1 loaf at a time. I'm gonna do the envelope again, and then fold it over, and then just kind of fold it in. And then I'm gonna do it one more time, just to stretch it out one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna go like that, and that. And then once again, just kind of go around, make it like a ball. And so it should be pretty tight now. And these are the baskets I have. I have 2 of these, and I sprinkled a little bit of rice flour in them so the dough doesn't stick to the basket. So just going like this, a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna put it in the basket, flip it over so that the seam, the bottom part of it is actually flipped over to be the, I'm not sure I can explain it, but okay, we got that one. And here's the other one. Gonna do the same thing here. This one seems a little stickier. I don't know why. Put a little bit of... Okay, so once again, we're gonna pull it apart a little bit and then do the whole envelope thing and then fold it in half again. And put a little bit of flour on down there. And then kind of go like this again. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Kind of pull it apart, do the envelope, and then fold it in half again. And okay, that feels like it should be pretty good. I think I'm going to put a little bit more rice flour on this one on top, just to make sure it doesn't stick. So when you're putting it in the basket, you just kind of pick it up like this and then flip it over. I didn't do the best job, but flip it over so the smoothest side is on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit more rice flour on it so it shouldn't stick. And then I just put it into a big baggie and seal it up like that. And then this goes in the refrigerator for overnight. So I'm done with it today, and then we'll bake it in the morning. So I hope I didn't discourage you and make it look too difficult, because it really isn't. It's pretty easy and it's pretty hard to mess up on it. So anyway, so we'll bake it in the morning. Hi Katie. Okay, it's the next morning. I've had the oven on at 500 degrees with the pans in it. I put those in when it's cold so that they heat up with the oven. So it's 500 degrees and I let it heat up for about a half hour. Make sure everything gets really hot in there. And then I took this out of the bag, and I do put a little bit of cornmeal on the bottom just to have it on the, and I use parchment paper. So I put a little sprinkle, and then I just flip this over and kind of brush it around a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna use a razor blade and make slices on top. I'm just going to do a really simple one. You can get really fancy. If you look that up, you'll see it. So I go about maybe 1/4 of an inch in, maybe a little bit deeper than that. And I'm just making a cross on top. Or just an X. So you can do anything fancy you want to. And then I put this in the pan. A warning, remember it's very hot. So, okay, and then I just pick up the bread like this, put it inside the Dutch oven. I like to spray a little bit of water on it. Don't always do that, but I remember to do. Okay, sorry I disappeared a little while, but that's it. So I put that in the oven, and then I'm going to do the other one, put it in the oven too. Bake it for 20 minutes, turn the heat down to 450, take the lids off from the Dutch ovens, and finish baking it. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's out of the oven. So, okay, bye. Hi Katie. Okay, here's the final result. You can kind of, hopefully you can kind of see the size of them. But yeah, so I did my slits on one of them a little bit different. It turned out a little bit funny on top here. It rose a little bit, but that's not actually bad. That's kind of, you know, that's something you like to see, a little texture. So hopefully this helps. Bye.